Hi all. So in this video, let's see about the fluid flow characteristics of a liquid. So coming into the fluid flow, so we all may wonder, there are many, like in the previous slides we saw what are all the types of fluids that are playing the role. So in this video, let's see the types of the flow of those fluid. Okay. So the flow types of fluid flow, first one is a steady or the unsteady flow, second uniform and the non-uniform flows, laminar and turbulent flows, compressible and incompressible flows, rotational and irrotational, then 1, 2 and the 3-dimensional flows. So coming into the let's see about the what is the steady and the non-steady types of fluid flow. So steady flow, in which the fluid characteristics like velocity, pressure, density at a point they do not change with respect to time. We call it as a steady flow. Unsteady flow is nothing but when the velocity of the fluid, either pressure or density at a point, it changes with respect to time. We call it as an unsteady flow. So what is a uniform and the non-uniform flow? So uniform is nothing but in which the velocity at given time does not change with respect to the space, that is the length of the direction of the flow will not change. Non-uniform flow is nothing but as when the time changes with respect to space, the change will be taking place in terms of the velocity. So that we call it as the non-uniform flow. So next is the type of fluid flows, the laminar and the turbulent flow. So laminar flow, in which the fluid particles move along a well-defined path or a streamlined path. We call it as the laminar flow. And the turbulent flow is nothing but the fluid that moves in very irregular path, maybe zigzag flow, or a crooked velocity at a point it fluctuates. That we call it as the turbulent flow. Then compressible and incompressible flow. So incompressible, in which the density of the fluid will change from one point to another point, and the density is not constant for that fluid. That means there will be a change in density at each and every points of the fluid flow. We call it as the compressible. And incompressible flow is nothing but the density of the fluid will change from one point to another point, and the density of is constant for the particular fluid. So this we call it as the incompressible flow. Rotational in the irrotational flow. So rotational flow is nothing but when which the fluid particles, while flowing along streamlines, also rotate about their own axis. So this we call it as the rotational flow. And the irrotational flow is nothing but in which the fluid particles, while flowing along the streamlines, they do not rotate about their own axis. So this is the difference between the rotational and the irrotational. That is where when they are moving in along a streamline, that is when the fluid flows along a streamline, when they rotate along the own axis, we call it as a rotational. When they do not rotate, we call it as the irrotational. And the next one is the 1, 2 and the 3-dimensional flow. So 1, 2 and the 3-dimensional flow is nothing but 1-dimensional flow is in which the flow parameter such as the velocity is a function of time, and one space will coordinate only. Okay. So in this one-dimensional flow, where the flow parameter it will act only on one parameter such as velocity. Okay. 2-dimensional is nothing but in which velocity is a function of time, and two rectangular space will get coordinated. Whereas in 3-dimensional flow, the same velocity will be the function of the time, and here three mutually perpendicular directions will get coordinated. So this is the difference between the 1, 2 and the 3-dimensional flow. Thank you.